Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to discuss the entire chapter of magnetism based on your GPSTR physics syllabus. Based on your previous year question papers, according to me, either one or two 1 mark question may come, and there are slight chances of 1 2 mark question also. Because entire of this chapter is conceptual based, that's why I have prepared a very nice notes, so that you can either take screenshots or you better make notes as per your convenience. Okay, let's start this chapter, magnetism. First of all, what is a magnet? It is an object that attracts objects which are made up of materials like iron, cobalt and nickel. What are the properties of the magnet? How do you say that particular object is a magnet? These are the following properties. First one is that if you suspend the magnet freely, then it will always point towards the north and south direction. Okay, this is a very important point. Any of these points can be asked as a MCQ, as a 1 mark question, or maybe the entire points they may ask as 2 mark question. They may ask as what are the properties of the magnet, or mention the properties of the magnet. So this video, please do watch till the end, and every line is important and every slide is important from this video. Okay, so next property of the magnet is that the pole of a magnet points towards north direction is called north pole, or it is always north seeking. In the same manner, the pole of the magnet which points towards south direction is called south pole, or it is always south seeking. And one very important property of a magnet is that like poles of magnets repel each other, while unlike poles of magnets attract each other. Also, a magnet has certain characteristics like the attractive property, which helps in finding out that the magnetic strength at the ends of the poles, that is the north and the south pole, it is strong. At the ends it is strong. In the middle it is less when compared to the poles. And then the directive property, which helps to understand that pole of a magnet is north and south when it is suspended in mid-air. And the next is the law of magnetic poles. As I told earlier, like poles repel while unlike poles attract. The next is the pair property. When a magnet is cut into two pieces, both pieces will have again north and south pole. This is also one of the very important property of a magnet. And last one is the sure test of magnetization. How do you know that it is a magnet? By testing. You can conduct a test. How do you conduct it? For a given rod, you can check whether it is a magnet or no by either attraction or repulsion of iron rod and a magnet. Okay, in our childhood we have done all this, right? At that time we didn't know that it is physics, we didn't know that it is magnetism and all. Okay, so practically you have played with a magnet. Every one of us at any point in our life we have played with a magnet, so we know it, right? So let's keep these properties in mind. Now, if there is a magnet, there is a magnetic field, and if there is a magnetic field, then it consists of what are called as field lines. Okay, so the area around a magnet where a magnetic force is experienced is called magnetic field. And this magnetic field, because it is having direction, we are talking about the north and south direction, right? And of course it will have some value, that is magnitude. That's why it is a vector quantity. This can be a 1 mark question. Then in the magnetic field, the force exerted by a magnet can be detected using compass. One needle will be there. It is always pointing towards north-south direction. That is called as compass. You must have seen it. I am sure you must have seen that compass. And then you can also use any other magnet also to detect that there is a magnetic field. Now there are imaginary lines of magnetic field around the magnet. These imaginary lines are known as magnetic field lines. For example, if you take iron fillings and you allow to settle around a bar magnet, then you will find this pattern. It will mimic the magnetic field lines. Okay, if you cannot imagine, if you are not able to imagine, then you can do this simple experiment and you can literally see the magnetic field lines. Field line of a magnet can also be detected using a compass. As I told earlier, the direction of the field line, how it will be there? It will be from north pole to south pole, isn't it? Now this you have to keep in mind. But what is happening inside the magnet? Inside the magnet, the direction of magnetic field is taken from south pole to north pole. For outside the magnet, remember, the direction is from north pole to south pole. But if you are talking about inside the magnet, then it is from south pole to north pole. Any of this can be asked as a 1 mark question. And then coming to the strength of the magnetic field. How do you know the strength of the magnetic field? You can know it by the closeness of the field lines. If the lines are very nearby, then the magnetic field is stronger. And if the lines are far away, then the magnetic field is said to be weaker. Okay, crowded field lines near the poles of magnet show this strength. The more the strength will be shown near the poles. You can see in this picture, near south pole and near north pole, the magnetic fields, it looks like there is only one line. They are so much close. Okay, this is because the magnetic strength is more there at the south pole and the north pole. Okay. Now there are certain properties of this magnetic field lines also. This can be asked as a 2 mark question as well. First is that they will not intersect each other. You can see this diagram. If they ask a question on magnetic field lines, it is must that you have to draw this diagram. Okay, along with the directions. The direction showing north to south in the circle in the field, and inside the magnet only one direction will be there. That also you have to show. Now first point was that they do not intersect each other. Then second point is that the magnetic field lines, they emerge from north pole and they merge at south pole. This is happening around the magnet. Whereas inside the magnet, the direction is from south pole to north pole. You can see the directions which we have marked in this picture. Okay. Therefore, we say that the magnetic field lines are closed curves. Now there are three types of magnets. First is a permanent magnet, second is a temporary magnet, and the third one is called as electromagnet. Let's talk about them one by one in a short manner. Permanent magnet are those magnets which we commonly use in our daily lives. Okay, they are known as permanent magnets because they will not lose their magnetic property once they are magnetized. Simple examples are ferrite, alnico. These are examples of a permanent magnet. When we are saying that they are not losing their magnetic property after they are magnetized, then is it possible that they get demagnetized? This also can be asked as a 2 mark question. That's why I put this question here. How to demagnetize the permanent magnets? Permanent magnets can be demagnetized if following things happen with them. First is that if you expose the magnets to extreme temperatures, if you heat them very highly, then they may lose their magnetic property. Second is that the magnetic attraction between the magnet's atoms get loosed when they are hammered. If you take a hammer and beat, then also it may lose its magnetic property. Third is, if you stroke the magnet in an inappropriate manner, then also the magnetic strength of that magnet will be reduced. Okay, this was about permanent magnets. Second are temporary magnets. Temporary magnets means they are man-made magnets. They are artificial magnets. They can be magnetized in presence of magnetic field. But if you remove that magnetic field, then those materials will lose their magnetic property. For example, iron nails, paper clips, you can see, right? If you want, you can stick them to magnet. But if you remove, then again you cannot use them as magnets. They are known as temporary magnets. The third is the electromagnet. What is electromagnet means? It consists of a coil. It is wrapped around a metal core. That metal core is made from iron. When this iron or that material is exposed to electric current, then magnetic field is generated and that material will behave like a magnet. Okay, and this magnetic strength of that material can be controlled by the flow of the electric current. You can control the flow of the electric current. If the electric current will increase, then the strength will increase. If the electric current will decrease, then the magnetic strength will decrease. Okay. Now, even this can be asked as a 2 mark question. What are the uses of a magnet? There are simple uses, but we need to know. It may be asked as a 2-mark question. First is that it is used in refrigerators, and second is that very important use of them is that they are used in computers, in hard disk and floppies. We used to use it, right, in floppies. And then they are also used in this magnetic needles and mariner's compass. We know it, right? Then permanent magnets, they find applications in generators, electric accelerators and electric motors. And electromagnets, they find applications in speakers, even our electric bells and electric cranes. And one more important use of these magnets is that they are used for separation of ion filling from other solid mixture. So it can be used as a filter indirectly. Okay. Now, magnetic materials can be of two types. One is those materials can be hard, or those magnetic materials can be soft. How do you know? You can see the properties and understand. Magnetic material is said to be soft material if it is easier to magnetize it and if it is easier to make it lose its magnetism. For example, iron. Okay. Second is the hard material. In this magnetically hard material, it is hard to magnetize it and it is not easy to make it lose its magnetic property. Now, permanent magnets, they are made out of magnetically hard materials. You have to remember this. Why? Because we don't want them to lose their magnetism easily, right? And then electromagnets, they are made of magnetically soft materials, because we want them to be able to easily gain magnetism and easily lose magnetism. We want to control it, right? We have made electromagnets, we want to control that magnet. That's why they are made of soft materials. Please note down, this can be a 2-mark question as well. In fact, I am expecting this question this year. Now, when a magnetic material is placed in a magnetic field, it can be temporarily magnetized. In this situation, one end of the material will become North Pole, the other end will become South Pole. You should know it. How it is getting magnetized means one end will become South Pole, the other end will become North Pole. Now we were talking about electromagnet, right? There is one particular object which is made up of coil of wire, that is known as solenoid. It is used as an electromagnet. It is made up of many circular turns of insulated copper wire wrapped closely in shape of cylinder. One end of that will behave as a magnetic North Pole, the other will behave as a magnetic South Pole. Here also the field lines inside the solenoid, they form parallel straight lines like in a magnet. This indicates that magnetic field is uniform inside the solenoid. This can be a 1-mark question. Remember, like a bar magnet, even in a solenoid, the magnetic lines are parallel inside. Okay, they are also going from south to North Pole. Now, this strong magnetic field which is produced inside a solenoid, this can be used to magnetize a piece of magnetic material like soft iron when placed inside the coil. Then this material together, everything together is formed as an electromagnet. Note that the strength of the magnetic field of this solenoid depends upon 3 things. One is the number of turns in the solenoid. We are wrapping the coil, isn't it? That is number of turns. One time if you wrap, it is 1 turn. Second time you wrap, it is 2 turn. So the strength of the magnetic field depends upon the number of turns in the solenoid. And second point is that it depends on strength of the current. And third is that it depends on the nature of the core material. For example, we can use iron, right? So the nature, what is the nature of that material is also important. So based on these 3 things, the strength of the magnetic field of solenoid changes. So this can be a 2-mark question, or even they can ask it as a 1-mark MCQ. Now this solenoid has a very important application which can be asked in your exam. It is known as MRI. MRI scanning we say, right? Magnetic resonance imaging. In this process, the patient is immersed in a strong magnetic field inside a solenoid. Cancers and all, they detect it, right, with the MRI scanning. So this is one of the important application of a solenoid. Now, according to your syllabus, we have to know what is the force on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. See, for example, if you are suspending something like this, a rod, this rod AB is suspended and then it is connected with a battery. And you have kept one magnet near that rod. Okay. Now what happens? Let's see. First of all, if I on the switch, the electric current flowing through this rod, it will produce a magnetic field. This magnetic field will exert force on the nearby magnet which is placed near it. This magnet also will exert one force upon that rod or the conductor, and this force will be equal and opposite force. So the rod moves. The direction of force on the conductor depends upon the direction of the current and the direction of the magnetic field. Here you can see that the forefinger shows the direction of the field and the middle finger shows the direction of the current, while the thumb shows the motion of the conductor. This is known as Fleming's left hand rule. So, if the direction of the force is reversed, then the direction of the current through the conductor also automatically it will get reversed. One more thing is, we told that the rod is moving, right? It is getting displaced, right? This displacement will be maximum when the direction of current is at right angles to the direction of the magnetic field. To understand this, imagine that you are holding this rod in your hand. Your thumb is showing the direction of the current and the other fingers which are curled over that rod, they are showing the magnetic field. So in this scenario, the displacement will be maximum. And here, when the magnetic field B and the current carrying wire of length L, they both are perpendicular, then the force on the wire will be equal to BIL, where B is magnetic field, I will be the current and L will be the length of the wire which is carrying the current. So they may ask this time this also. So please, you should know everything. Don't worry about the text which I have written. It is so much. Don't think so. What I am talking, you just hear that and you grab, you make your own sentences and you write answer. There is nothing that you have to write as it is. But whatever you write, the meaning should be the same. Technically, the meaning should not change. Okay? That should be your motto. For that, you have to understand concepts very clearly. Now talking about electromagnetic induction. This topic they have not specifically mentioned in your syllabus. That's why I won't talk much on this. But you need to know what it is. It is very important because when you're talking about magnets, you should know what is electromagnetism also. That's why I have put a small note on what is electromagnetic induction. This is a process in which a conductor is put in a particular position and magnetic field will keep on varying. Or if the magnetic field will be stationary, then the conductor will be moving. This will lead to production of a voltage or what we call as electromotive force across that electric conductor. And there is a law known as law of induction which was given by Michael Faraday in 1830. This is a very common and very famous law. It says that when a magnetic field changes, it causes a voltage, a difference in the electric potential that can make electric current flows. And to know the direction, this Fleming gave this right hand rule. Here you can see that the thumb will show the movement of the conductor and your forefinger and middle finger will show the magnetic field and the current induced in that conductor. So you should know the Fleming's left hand rule and Fleming's right hand rule also. You saw that in Fleming's left hand rule, you are showing the direction of the current from your thumb. Here you will show the movement of the conductor from your thumb. Okay, you have to remember this. There are two very important applications of electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction, it is used in AC generators and in transformers. I am not going deep into it because it is not mentioned in a syllabus. But one MCQ they may ask, 1 mark question may be asked like this. The phenomenon of electromagnetic induction is, just now we have told it, right? Producing induced current in a coil due to relative motion between a magnet and a coil is known as electromagnetic induction. There is one phrase mentioned in your syllabus, that is magnetic materials. They mean to say the magnetic materials based on their magnetic behavior. Okay, we have talked about the type of the magnetic materials that was based on the material. This is based on the magnetic behavior of the material. So there are three types of magnetic materials. Please note that this is very important. More chances are there that they may ask a 2-mark question based on this. They may ask what is the difference between diamagnetic, paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials, or they may ask you to explain briefly what are these materials. So first is diamagnetic material, second is paramagnetic, and third is ferromagnetic material. Diamagnetic materials, they are barely magnetized when they are placed in magnetic field. Okay, actually these magnetic dipoles, we are talking about the south pole and the north pole, right? So these dipoles, they will tend to align in opposition. They don't want to attract the magnet. They will repel the external field around it. Okay, this opposing field, it will disappear as soon as you remove the external magnetic field. So basically they are not magnets. Exactly opposite of the magnets they are, the diamagnetic materials. Example are gold, water, mercury, even we animals, we are all diamagnetic materials. And now coming to paramagnetic materials. In these materials, these magnetic dipoles, they tend to align along the applied magnetic field. If there is a strong magnet placed near it, then they are getting magnetized, but they are very feebly getting magnetized, very lightly getting magnetized. As soon as you remove that external magnetic field, then this magnetization also will disappear. These paramagnetic materials were discovered by Madame Marie Curie. She told that the magnetization is dependent on external magnetic field B and temperature T. That magnetization M is equal to CB upon T. Actually, M is proportional to B by T. But then if you remove the proportional symbol and keep the proportionality constant, it will be C. It is known as Curie constant. So M will be equal to CB upon T. Examples for paramagnetic materials are liquid oxygen, sodium, platinum, salts of iron and nickel, etc. Now coming to the main magnets. They are the ferromagnetic materials. They exhibit strongest magnetic behavior. Arrangements of individual magnetic dipoles, they will be perfect and they can produce strong magnetic fields. When an external magnetic field is applied, they produce strong internal magnetic field, and that will be along the external field. The magnetic field of magnetic materials, it will persist even after you remove the external field. For example, iron, cobalt, nickel, neodymium and their alloys, they are all ferromagnetic materials and they are only used to make permanent magnets. So summary in short, they may ask for 2 marks. You just make a table like this and you say what are diamagnetic, paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials. If time permits, you draw these magnetic field lines, and important is that you write the examples. Now coming to what type of questions are asked. This is a 1 mark question asked in your previous year question paper. The question is, when a bar magnet tied to a thread is suspended freely, what? Of course, it comes to rest along the north-south direction of the earth. Now I have made few questions. Any of them may be asked in your exam. For example, magnetism at the center of bar magnet is, of course, it is 0. Why? I told you, right? The magnetic lines of force, how much far they are, so much less magnetism will be there. How much near they are, so much more magnetism will be there. At the poles, they looked like only one line, right? They were so close that they looked like one line. So at poles, it will be maximum. At the center, it will be 0. A natural magnet is an ore of which of the following chemical compound? Of course, it should be iron only. It is made of iron oxide. In magnetic compass, a magnetic needle will always direct north and south. It behaves like a bar magnet, right? Then paramagnetic substance among the following is, of course, it should be platinum. I have made this table. Please note down. They may ask anything in a MCQ, that 1 mark question. They may ask any one of this. They may ask whether it is paramagnet, it is diamagnet or ferromagnet. So you just remember these. Magnetic field inside a solenoid is, of course, it is uniform. I told you, right? Inside a solenoid, it will be uniform. When an electric current passes through a solenoid, it acts as an bar magnet. I told you, right? In the bar magnet only, that inside it will be, the direction will be from south to north and those lines will be parallel. Outside it, there will be like a closed loops. That time the direction will be from north to south. In both bar magnet and in solenoid, same things are going to happen with the magnetic field lines. What does the forefinger indicate in the Fleming's right hand rule? I told you, right? It will indicate the magnetic field. Now they may ask 2 mark questions. Any of one they may ask. Whatever I expect, I am putting it here. First question is, why does a current carrying freely suspended solenoid rest along a particular direction? Second question is, state the direction in which it rests. First is that, of course, because it is behaving like a bar magnet. That's why it is showing the property of a bar magnet only. It is showing the direction, one particular direction. And in which direction it rests? It will rest in the north-south direction of the earth. Second question may be, draw a diagram to show the magnetic field lines around a bar magnet. List any 2 properties of magnetic field lines. We have discussed about it, right? But still I am depicting here so that it will be helpful for you. Third question, it could be, write the special name given to the coil AB which has many circular turns of insulated copper wire. Of course, you will say that it is a solenoid. Then you should mention the 2 factors on which the strength of the magnetic field produced by AB depends. And then what is the effect of placing an iron core in the coil AB? First is, you will mention the factors. You know, right? Any 2 you mention from the 3. Strength of the current and number of turns in the coil. Number of turns in the coil is the first point actually. Remember, number of turns in the coil. Second point should be strength of the current. And then what is the effect of placing an iron core in the coil AB? The magnetic field associated with the solenoid, it will increase tremendously and it will become an electromagnet. So if they ask this question for 3 marks, you will have to include 3 points. Okay. So 1 mark will be given for first answer and 1 mark will be given for second answer and 1 mark will be given for third answer among the 3 questions asked here. Okay. Now talking about 2022 question paper for GPSTR, I have found 2 questions from CB method question paper, that is a biology science teacher. I did not get any question for PM method question paper. So the question was asked for 1 mark, MCQ 1 question was there and another question was asked for 3 marks. Okay, so the question here is natural magnet among the following is. The options they have given are horseshoe magnet, magnetite, bauxite and bar magnet. So here clearly the correct answer will be magnetite, option 2, because horseshoe magnet and bar magnet are not natural magnets and bauxite is nowhere related to magnetism. So magnetite is a natural magnet. Okay. Another question, as I told, was a 3 mark question. The question was, draw the diagram to represent the magnetic field around a straight conductor carrying current. So here you will have to draw the diagram, show the direction of a magnetic field and current with the help of arrow mark. You can see that the straight conductor carrying current will have a perpendicular direction of magnetic field. So the circles you have to draw like that. Okay. Here the magnetic field lines which are around the straight current carrying conductor, they are actually concentric circles and the center of that concentric circles is the conductor. Okay, so you will clearly get 3 marks for this answer, 2 marks for figure and 1 mark for the explanation of the direction of magnetic field lines and also the current direction. Okay,
So this is how you have to write a descriptive answers. Wherever needed, you need to draw the diagram also. Now this class was just a trailer, because for paid course we are giving around 1.5 hour class for this chapter. Okay. Now because we want to cut short and give you a one shot video in free class, we have made this specially for this free classes YouTube channel Unfog with Dr. Atahar Parveen. But in paid classes, we are giving 2 classes for magnetism. We will be giving you the class notes and practice worksheets for each chapter, and that practice worksheet will be having 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark and 4 marks most expected questions and answers. So there we will be including more questions, more expected questions and model question paper question and answers also. So that is different preparation in the paid course. Now this thing, because some aspirants were asking me for the way of explanation I am doing for GPSTR. So I am just giving you a idea for you all to know how our teaching is related to GPSTR. Okay. Okay then. Thank you. All the best. Bye.